And welcome, fastball fans across the globe. Welcome to the 2018 ISC World Fastball Tournament from the Peter Hallman Ball Yard in Kitchener, Ontario. Continue with day two action, with the top-ranked Hill United Chiefs taking on the Puss Lynch Kodiaks. I'm Lance Wynn. I'll be your play-by-play guy along with my broadcast partner, Varm Matosian. Glad to have you with us here as we are underway. We are currently in the bottom of the first inning, a scoreless ball game. And we'll just set the batting order first for the hometown and top-ranked Hill United Chiefs. It'll be Bradley Ezekiel that led things off. He's currently standing on first base. Nico Carrill, as you see that healthy cut, will be batting in the 2 spot. Nick Shales, one of the best all-around players, bats third. Bruno Matroni in the cleanup spot. Jason Hill, number 5 hitter. Jeff Ellsworth, of course, the coach of the junior men's national team here in Canada. Mark Johnson sits in the 7th spot. Shane Boland bats 8th, and James Todhunter bats 9th. Set the defense for you as that ball's a hard shot and no chance for Brandon Viol to handle that hard one hopper. So give Carrill an infield hit. That will move Brad Ezekiel over to third base. And defensively for the Kodiaks, it's Matt Haynes out in left, Mike LaJouie in center, and Jordan Duffield in right. Brian Jefferson on the hot corner, as you saw Brian Viol at short. J.J. Gallows at second base. David Jefferson at first, and Kyle McKegg will be catching for Kyle Hunter and Varm. When we talk about a game like this, just to get our viewers caught up, it was a 1-2-3 inning for Adam Folkart, and the
a drop in, a drop out, rise ball. It doesn't seem to affect him at all. He's not vulnerable to a changeup at all because he's got a quick bat, and his plate coverage is outstanding. Now there are some pitchers, Juan Polilicchio, who's on our team. He actually has had so much success with Nick over the years. There are times when Nick actually got up left-handed against him. and there's no joke. I mean, he can actually hit left-handed, but he's obviously much better right-handed because maybe he got in his head or maybe he just feels he has an advantage left-handed. So there are ways to get, and Juan throws primarily curveballs and rise balls, so that's maybe something. But he also hits curveballs and rise balls from so many other pitchers. It's maybe just the way he sees it from different pitchers. I don't know.
Well, Varm, I think not to interject, but I think you know as a player and been around this game for a long time, there just seem to be certain pitchers that you see well, that you hit well, and then others that you just don't. And I mean, it doesn't matter if the guy is a top A thrower or not. There are just some pitchers you just struggle against, as you see Jason Hill work a walk. And now the bases are full, and you look at this scenario here, Varm, and you got to figure with Jeff Ellsworth stepping in here that this is a good time for Hill United to yield the dagger one more time.
It's about to break open. But as far as what you were saying before about different pitchers and stuff, I think that happens on every level of ball, whether it be junior ball or fast pitch or even baseball. It's strange when you hear a lot of interviews with baseball players, and they're always asked, what pitchers gave you the hardest problems? And it's always someone that you would never think, like, Chipper Jones, you would think, okay, well, Roy Halladay gave me the most. Or it's always some obscure guy
that's
like
always
that you've
the
never
case.
heard of.
It really is. I mean, it's okay. You're going to struggle against the world-class guys. It's the other guy, and you're thinking, I don't know why I can hit this guy, but this guy for some reason.
Mark Leiter used to give me problems, but I used to do okay against
Cliff
Lee.
Exactly. Hard hit, one hopper. They're going to get one. Doing a good job of backing up was Jason Hill. And J.J. Gallo tried to do the flip. And
that was a tough call, I think.
That was a bit of a tough call. So Ellsworth is on base with the fielder's choice. Hill is out. Another run's going to come in Nick Shales to make it 3-0. And Bruno Matroni now sitting at third base for Mark Johnson. So very methodical, Varm, are these Hill United Chiefs. They play the game the way it's supposed to be. And I think, you can look at the top four teams and say pretty much the same thing. But these guys play the game the right way, the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, they already have 3 runs, and they really.
Ball's lifted out, going back, and then coming in out there was Duffield. That's going to drop for a single. So an RBI for Mark Johnson.
Like, they now have 4 runs, and the hardest ball they've hit was a ground ball to shortstop. It's like they run the bases well. They're all quick. They're putting pressure on the opponents. They don't strike out. They're swinging at strikes. It's very methodical and professional. If you look at Larry Lynch, he's the coach at first base over there. He's holding about 6 or 7 shin guards from the guys giving to them.
I'm looking at going, maybe he needs a backpack over there or something. Because Larry, with his hands full, you don't usually see that when you look at your coach down the first base line, as Shane Boland, of course, looks at a called strike.
No, I end up coaching first sometimes for a team because I don't play that much. But it's like, if you think about, the 9 guys in the field and the batter and the 3 umpires.
I wasn't going to bring up the whole warm-up thing. I wasn't going to bring it up.
I know.
Okay, just so.
But if you think about everybody on the field, the most useless person on the field is the first base coach, unless you're taking the equipment from the guys.
Hard hit shot up the middle for a base hit. Rounding third and coming in the score is Ellsworth. So another base hit for the Hill United Chiefs. Shane Boland collects an RBI on the play. Score now is 5-0, and James Todhunter, the number 9 hitter, set to bat here in the first inning.
You know you have a strong lineup when James Todhunter, which is starting international player from Australia, is batting ninth.
Batting ninth in this tough lineup. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing you guys throughout this week, and important to keep the engine rolling. You guys won well, I'd say pretty handily here in your first game.
Yes, it was. We got a bunch of runs early and didn't stop. It was a 4-inning game. Didn't give up any runs.
No, I think that's what you want from your first outing. As that ball shot through the left side, base hit, rounding third, and coming in to score on the play is Mark Johnson, and it's 6-0. And these are the kind of games, Varm, that very easily can get away from you. And 1 minute you're just trying to. So you see Adam Folkart in the first inning, strikes out the side. Then now you got to play D. You're out there now for what probably seems like an eternity. What's your mindset if you're on the Kodiak side? What's your mindset now when you finally get that third out?
Well, they've gone through 9 batters and gotten one out. So, you're I hate to say it, but it's like, okay, well, who do we got next? Because it's a bit disheartening. I mean, like I said, it could have been a double play in the second batter of the game, and it wasn't.
Well, I ask you, and it wasn't a trick question. It's
Yeah.
only because when you've played this game, you have been the recipient as well as the guy delivering it. So you've never played this game and not taken a good butt whooping. So
Yeah.
I think we've all had those long innings, right? So that's really all I'm getting at with that.
Yeah.
Just that we've all been there as far as that goes. So if you're the Kodiaks, I don't want you to be offended or anything.
No,
Just
I
want
know.
you to understand
It's just you're hoping for someone to make a play. You're hoping for someone to hit something at someone. I mean, they haven't had a lot of hard hit balls, but you know what? They're finding holes, and there's nothing to get out of it. You bring in another pitcher, well, okay. He's not doing terribly.
That's lifted a mile high. Settling under that is Duffield. He will make the grab for the second out. Tagging and scoring on the play is Boland. And it is 7-0 for the Chiefs.
I mean, look, obviously there's a certain amount of expectation that they would have coming into the tournament, knowing that they're going to be facing the defending champion 4 out of 5 years. If they're realistic, they know they're going to lose a game. But all they can worry about is their own performance. Try to take your at-bats, try to make your plays. Outside of that, there's nothing else you can control. It's a little slightly different class of team.
Well, we've known over the years they've tried different formats with this tournament here at the ISC. There was a year where they wanted to do super teams and league teams and try to avoid games like this. But I as a player, who may not necessarily get a chance to play on one of the big budget top-ranked teams, you at least get a chance to play against the best guys in the world. And I think that is a privilege in itself. So if you're the Kodiaks, go into this looking at it, you know what, probably not going to win this game, but I'm playing against some of the best players in the world.
Right.
So what can I learn and what can I do up there to help my team? So I think that I always know it was a privilege on the other side to play against these guys. So I think that's the right outlook to take when you're in a game situation.
Well, I think it's the only way to get better, right? I mean, enter as many tournaments as you can. Try to find the best competition. Get your team there. If you face better pitching, you're going to get better. I mean, there's no secret. I mean, if you play in the local tournaments around and you don't really go around to the better tournaments, you're not going to really improve that much. And this is just an example of a team entering the ISC because they want to take their chances, and they're looking to get better. They're not looking to get worse.
Absolutely. Well, we know it's a process, Varm. It's not, you get something, you build it, but you have to maintain it, and that's not always the easiest thing. So when you talk about a team like the Hill United Chiefs, it's an established program here that's been around enough and played level. As you see, Nico Kirill reaching base for the second time this inning as he draws a 2-out walk, and that'll bring up Nick Shales. Shales, of course, 1 for 1, a double and a couple RBIs.
And I don't know if these guys are younger guys, or I can't really tell if they're, what the ages of some of these guys are. But if they're younger guys, I think it would be great for them to see. Listen here, this is what these guys are. This is where, if it's not the same team in a couple of years, if they make additions and some subtractions, this is where we want to aspire to. So it can't be bad.
No, I think it's important to have a measuring stick. Ground ball, Shales to short. Wood first in time. So Shales with a ground out. 6-3 on the putout. Finally ends the inning, but not before the Chiefs put 7 up on the board. That's their lead. We'll be heading to the top of the second inning after the short break. Welcome back here to the Peter Hallman Ball Yard. Lance Wynn, Var Matosian, glad you've tuned in as we are in day 2 of competition. This is the second televised game, and it's the Hill United Chiefs taking on the Pushlands Kodiaks here. We are in the top of the second inning. Set the defense for you. Didn't have a chance to do that. First, we'll do the batting order for the Kodiaks. Kyle McKegg led things off. He struck out. Kyle Hunter was the number 2 spot. He struck out, as did Mike Lajoie. It'll be John Blair, Brandon Viol, Matt Haynes, Brian Jefferson in the 7th spot. David Jefferson bats 8th, and J.J. Gallo will be batting in the 9th spot. And John Blair, his first look at Adam Folkert, and behind Adam is Mark Johnson out in left, Brad Hesicle in center, and Nico Kirill in right. Shane Boland on the hot corner, Nicky Shales at short, James Todd Hunter at second, and Jason Hill at first. And, of course, Bruno Matroni is handling the catching. If you're John Blair, you probably haven't seen the likes of an Adam Folkert.
No.
What's your thought process going in besides being choked way up on that bat?
The first process I would think if I was him was to not use a green and pink bat. That bat is green and pink.
What is your issue with the bat, Var?
Oh, okay.
Talk to me.
I'm just saying I've never seen that before. No, my sister has one.
Okay.
But I've never seen that one.
Well,
listen, if you face Adam for the first time, you all you're trying to do is react and make contact until you get comfortable with him after seeing him about 10, 11 times.
Well, maybe he's using that for bat control, Varm, and maybe to increase the bat speed just a bit as you see the infield.
No, it's good as long as your friends don't see you do it.
Like the old moped thing? Is that what he's trying to say?
I'm just saying. It's like a moped.
Gets you where you want to go until your friends see you riding.
Listen, if his friends are watching, I'm sorry, but it's funny.
Well, that was probably going to be the end result.
Yeah.
Very spread-legged on the stands and
that's actually
a bit lopsided. Which I only say that because when you're in that batter's box, you get a guy like Folkert who has a rise ball that will make you fish. I understand your back, but your weight's already shifted back just a bit.
It's true.
So to me, you're already sort of at a bit of a disadvantage. And a guy like that fraction of a second is you need it.
If you're wide, like he was, and this is even for the top guys, if you're wide like this, it kind of prevents you from striding, which is good against, maybe if you just pick your foot up and down rather than starting even and then striding, you're kind of wasting motion a little bit. Mm-hmm. However, if you're swinging at a ball that's at your chest from a pitcher like Adam, it's not gonna work either way. Well,
he's not going to help you either. You're going to get a steady die to
listen,
that. So
he's very good at getting ahead of batters. And like I was saying to you before the broadcast, if he's got you 0-1 or if he's got you 0-2 or 1-2, you're not seeing a strike. You're just not seeing a strike. The problem is that you're 0-1 and you're 1-2 and you're trying to defend, and he throws so well that it looks like a strike about halfway there. And again, unless you've seen him countless times, and
it would have to be countless.
Yeah,
and even then,
yeah.
if you're
it's still hard.
300, it's still hard no matter what. You're absolutely right.
I mean, there's a reason why he's the best pitcher in the game.
Well, he has struck out the first 5 batters he's seen, which, I mean, we could sit up here in the booth farm and we're not overly surprised at that, quite frankly. We saw that as Matt Haynes will step in for his first look.
No, you'd be surprised if he did that against, like one of the top 10 teams. But, yeah, I mean, these guys haven't seen him.
Well, you know what, and really, Adam is such a student of the game. His approach is going to be totally different against the Kodiaks that he would be against you guys.
Absolutely.
It would be. Every batter, the whole thought process would be totally different for him. So he definitely knows where he's at, who he's playing, what the magnitude is of the game he's in. So, I mean, that says a lot about him and his character.
He's also got to work a lot harder against the top teams.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
He's got to watch. He can't leave stuff over the center. Good hitters will, even against him, will hit him. But, there's a reason why he's the best.
No, but you got to, like, when I look at your lineup, you have some of the best hitters in the world. So, really, it's checks and balances, right? So down go the Kodiaks, 1-2-3 here in the second inning. So we're going to head on down to the bottom of the second when we come back, 7-0 in favor of the Chiefs. Back here in Kitchener, Ontario, it will be 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Hill United Chiefs, leading 7-0 over the Kodiaks. So it'll be Matrone, Hill, and Ellsworth for their second at-bats here in this ball game. And looks like we've got a new pitcher in. And before we get to him, just want to let you know our blue crew, as that ball is laced just foul. Ed Otterman will be at the dish. Gary Johnston and John Hand are the other two umpires, left to right. And that's coming from Varm, so I'm going to leave that one. So Eric Rasmussen comes in and relieves Kyle Hunter, who had himself a long half inning.
That was a tough first inning.
So certainly nothing to be ashamed of there as that ball's tailing and a grab out there
that was
by
a great
Jordan
play.
Duffield. As that ball was tailing away, a great recovery, and he records the first out of the second inning.
That was a great play.
Not too bad at all.
Tailing away from him. He dove at the bottom. He stuck his glove out at the bottom of right where the ball was supposed to hit the ground. It was great.
So Rasmussen getting some help from his defense as they record the first out, and it'll be Jason Hill. Hill walked and was forced out on a fielder's choice. That, of course, in the first.
I tell you, Bruno Matroni, who just hit for Hill United, that's almost like a added player. He was on their team last year, but that's almost like an added player last year because he was injured for most of their run last year. Like he wasn't able to catch too often, and he hit in a couple of the games, but that's like even though he was on the team, it was like an added player.
That changeup's flared out into shallow right for a base hit. So a 1-0 hit from Jason Hill. And there's a runner aboard now for Jeff Ellsworth.
There's another guy that he hasn't been around for a couple of years. And, he came back, and he was one of the top home run hitters at the ASA tournament last year. Last week. There were two guys with, I think, 3 or 4 home runs, and he was one of them.
That one is a bullet out to right field, base hit. Of course, Hill had to hold up and make sure that ball hit the ground. So back-to-back singles for the Chiefs, and that will bring up Mark Johnson. Johnson, of course, had an RBI single and scored a run in the first. So Rasmussen got some help on the first at-bat. He has since given up back-to-back hits, and it's not about to get any easier here with Johnson.
Well, there's no easy outs in this lineup. You could say that about some of the top teams, but these guys have proven every year. They score about 5-6 runs a game on average.
That ball lined out to left field, base hit, rounding third and scoring easily is Hill. And the score now 8-0 on an RBI single from Mark Johnson.
Yeah, they're making it look easy.
So almost time to go base to base as
it's getting there.
We hear being here in the bottom of the second inning, and a whole heap of work to do if you're the Kodiaks to extend the game. I mean, getting one run off of Adam Fulker's hard enough. To try to get a couple, right I don't know what you're asking, Varm. You got to be the Gremlins. That's about it.
Unfortunately, for them, for Kodiak, they're trying to just put balls in play right now, and it's kind of discouraging when nobody has done that yet. You got 7, 8, 9 coming up next inning, right?
So Shane Boland now with his second at bat, and he lifts that one up, and it's Viol settling under it. Got to wait a day for it to come down. Finally does. And there are 2 outs now for James Todhunter.
Listen, it's tough for these guys. I mean, every one of these guys are international players, and they all play for their national teams, and they all take, even some of the guys on the bench as well. It's hard to go against these guys and try to have a respectable showing, but like we saw before with playing by right field by Duffield. Was it Duffield?
Yeah, Duffield.
Yeah, by Duffield. Hey, they're giving it their all.
Well, tell me, Varm, when you guys go up against the likes of the Chiefs and you're looking at like a 1-2 matchup, what do you find as being, what's the 1 or 2 things that maybe sway it one way or the other? Because you're 2 very evenly matched teams with a lot of talent.
Well, obviously a lot depends on how the pitchers are throwing. If Adam's having a good day, if Andrew or Juan are having a good day. Hitting's contagious. If you consistently work deep counts, try to get the other pitcher to work. I mean, it depends how the game's being called by the home plate umpire. You're just looking to put good at-bats together. Hitting's contagious. Everybody can field. Everybody can make plays.
Ground ball to short, over to third, the easy way. So a good job to cut the distance. Goes 6-5 on the final putout, but not before the Chiefs add another. They lead this one 8-0. We're headed to the third when we come back. Welcome back here as we get set for the top of the third inning. The Puss Lynch Kodiaks looking for their first hit, first base runner. As Adam Folkard has been untouchable, striking out the side. He's got 6 strikeouts, and it'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters in Brian Jefferson, David Jefferson, and J.J. Gallo to face the hard-throwing righty as Folkard nibbled on the outside corner as the count now runs even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Perfect weather for ball here in Kitchener, Ontario, as we are in the midst of day 2 of competition. Stick around, of course, for the opening ceremonies to follow this. And then the Kitchener Twins are in action, taking on Alveston. That, of course, is our 6 p.m. game. So make sure you stick around. As Folkard missing down and out, I'd like to send a shout out to Jim Flanagan, listening on the west side, of course, in sunny California. Hopefully you're staying, well, I won't say dry because you got some fires going out there, so hopefully you're in a nice, safe place as Folkard comes in with a hard pitch in the corner for a called strike to run the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I tell you, I just had to go to the bathroom, and I was just informed there's one 10 feet away from me over here. Why didn't you tell me?
Sometimes, Varm, guys have to figure things out for themselves.
Well,
I can't hold everybody's hand. I'm trying, and, you know, we took the training wheels off, and you struggled through that. We worked through that, and now my man.
That's a demerit. I'm putting a demerit on your page.
Right. And didn't I encourage you to run or no?
Run.
Please. So first base runner of this game is Brian Jefferson, courtesy a walk from Folkard. That's his first walk of this ball game, and David Jefferson now will step in with the green and pink bat. Let's see if that's got a hit or 2 in it. And certainly has a foul tip. And he's in the hole now, no balls and 2 strikes.
Adam's pretty methodical about going about his business. He just give me the ball, throw it here. He's pretty unflappable too when he's on the mound, even if things are going wrong.
Well, it's hard to see any
ball,
kind of different.
It's
hard to see any kind of different reaction. We've seen him in numerous situations, high pressure situation, international, and he looks the same. Right?
He's so experienced over the years. I mean, he's not that old. He's like 31, 32 years old. He's not 40. And he's had so much experience in the past 12 years, 13 years.
Well, Varm, you've been around the game
impressive.
long enough. When would you say a pitcher is in his prime? Because it's not like other sports where you'd say a guy's in his prime, 21, 22 years old. He's fully active. Here, as a pitcher, I don't think you really master that art until you're well in your 30s.
20, yeah, I'd say
Good bunt laid down, fielded, Hill, good job, as Gallo tried to move the runner along, which he did. So now a runner in scoring position. And it'll take us back to the top of the shop in Kyle McKeag.
Probably between like 28 and 33, because you still have to throw hard. I mean, and guys still throw hard past 33. But I'm saying, in your prime, when you're at your peak physical condition as a pitcher, and also have the mental capacity to execute your pitches. Yeah, I'd say between 28 and 33. But I could be talked out of that. That's my sense.
Well, that's why I'm asking. You've done some catching in your day. You've done a lot of coaching, a lot of playing. So, I mean, you've seen the progression. You've watched Folkart, for example. You've watched his career sort of as it's evolved.
Yeah.
And you look and you see a lot of guys and they come up, they throw hard.
Yeah.
But that's what they want to do. They want to throw.
Yes.
And it isn't until they get a little older, realize maybe they start losing a little bit of velocity, that now then they start trying to become a pitcher now.
He was a thrower. Adam definitely was a thrower, and it worked for him even back then. I mean, he threw. I remember. I think it was 2008 or 2009. He did not give up an earned run in the tournament, and lost. In the final, they lost 1-0 because of an error. But he was a thrower. He had 2 pitches, and here it is. See if he can hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to a certain extent, he still has that, but now his spots are so much better than they were then, as far as like, I'm going to throw a drop ball on the inside part of the plate this pitch. I'm going to throw a top of the zone rise ball outside on this pitch. It's and I saw him fool around with a changeup earlier this year. I'm like, no. It's like, that's no.
Yeah, he doesn't need that, too.
Come on.
As you see, he strikes out 2 of the 3 batters this inning. So Folkart doing a good job. Scoreless on the board there for the Kodiaks. 8-0. We are headed down to the bottom of the 3rd when we come back.
Yeah. Where else would I go? On top, sitting on top of the dugout. Not a bad spot to be on. I mean, this is the best place I've found to shoot so far. I didn't realize I was allowed on top of the dugout. I'm not allowed to get to the dugout, but I'm allowed on top of the dugout. Sure. What? Well, it goes out the window. Yeah, I'm getting harassed to start filing images, so yeah, there's that.
Well, how would you like to leave and stand up and party?
Considering how uninteresting this game is.
Quick, before I leave with this note.
Yeah. Funny, I thought we got married last night. Or was I that drunk that I don't remember? I got up one way, I can get there the same.
Wow. You think you're taking pictures of the game and not playing?
I know.
Oh, you're a disaster.
All set to go here for the bottom of the 3rd inning. It will be the 2-3-4 hitters in Kirill, and it looks like we will have a pinch hitter in Benny Weidman. So Benny Weidman will come in to bat for Nico Kirill. It's Nick Shales and then Bruno Machoni, the scheduled 3 hitters, to face Eric Rasmussen.
Benny, a former Gremlin and Scarborough Force player as well, Owen Sound Select player.
It's funny how these world-class players seem to find their way around the circuit just a bit. They don't stay free agents for long, that's for sure.
Benny was a starter on the Hill United team last year that won the ISC.
Well, Benny's pretty solid. Wherever he's putting that diamond, as that ball's lifted up high, and calling for it is Viol, and he makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Benny's in for Nico Kirill. He's done enough damage for today, I guess.
Apparently so, as Nick Shales will step in. He is 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a run scored.
Nicky, again, so versatile. You know, he can play pretty much any infield spot on the diamond and well. They have him at he's been playing short a lot, which he plays well there, but it's probably his worst position out of on the infield diamond. I mean, he's a great second baseman. I like him best at second.
I've seen him, and I'd agree with you. I would agree with you there.
Shortstop is probably the hardest position to play on the field.
That's lined up and not going to get it. One hops the fence. Shales is rounding second. He'll pull up with a double. So Shales with his second hit of the ball game and a runner in scoring position now for Bruno Machoni. And it looks like it's going to be Jason Sanford going to come in and hit for Machoni. That's SANFORD period, as he will get his first look at Eric Rasmussen. And if we go back to talking to me, he is the best all-round ball player. And I say that because I've seen him play a number of positions. Doesn't matter where he bats in the order, he's still effective. Doesn't matter the team, doesn't matter what he does, all the little things that your team needs to win. And I see that regardless of whether or not it's the first game of the tournament or the championship game, he's still going hard all the time.
He's someone you have to think about as far as like before the game. You know, you got to talk about, okay, what are we throwing him in this spot? And as far as what we were talking about before, shortstop is the hardest position to play on the field physically. But as far as like kind of running the infield, just because you have to deal with bunts and stuff at second base, I think mentally second base is the hardest position to play in this game. But Nick is also a great third baseman. He's quick reactions. I just have admiration for the way he plays.
Well, Varm, I mean, when you see him play, when you see him at third, you think, well, that's his natural position. Then you see him at short and you go, well, that must be his natural position. Then you see him at second, you go, that's definitely his position. So whenever you're doing that, you're really giving way to a guy who really knows how to play this game. As
he
another
does.
pinch
He
hitter.
also complains a lot during the game.
You stop it now, Gremlin.
He's on the umpire.
Gremlin,
He's on the umpires all game.
Well, that's for the next call, right? But I don't know. The report on you isn't exactly Varm is very quiet in the dugout. Doesn't say anything. So
I'm not saying that.
All right.
I'm not saying what I do. I'm saying because I don't matter. I don't play a lot. He complains every call.
That's to get the next one.
No,
right?
We're friends. He's a great player, man.
So batting for Jason Hill is Tony Gonzalez, as he will get his first look at Rasmussen with 2 out and Nick Shale standing at second base. So I think now if you're Hill, you're just trying to get to that 5th inning. And, I mean, you're always trying to put runs up on the board, but right now you're just trying to minimize and get into that dugout as soon as you can and get some 3 outs and move along. It'll be interesting to see if Folkert comes out or not, or if Justin Schofield does that. Or
I didn't see anybody warming up before, but it's like this inning, Hill has brought up Jason Sanford, Ben Weidman, and Tony Gonzalez. these guys for pretty much, I don't know, well, there's 35 teams here.
36.
Yeah, I mean, they're starters on almost all of these teams. And it says something that they just want to be part of a winning unit and be called upon when they're called upon. Because as we all know, guys get hurt, substitutions for runners during the game. They're going to be called upon at some point.
Ellsworth drilled, and you can get out of this ballpark right now. Home run, Jeff Ellsworth, a 3-run blast, and it's 11-0 for the Hill United Chiefs.
He keeps on ticking.
Boy, oh
he's
boy.
having
you thought you were going to get out of
year.
that inning.
Yeah. He still hits. Maybe it was the exit speed swing.
It must have been that exit that helped that out for sure.
That's right.
Sure, he'll be happy with that plug without a doubt.
Yeah, there's a towel on a stick.
We still love you, Nicky Shales. So Mark Johnson now will step in for his third at bat of this game. He is 2 for 2.
I think it's amazing what Jeff has done this year as far as playing after being out for, he's got his job at home and doing the Canadian junior team and come perform the way he's performing this year. It's, he's always been one of the best hitters, and I was fortunate to be around him 1 year, being on the same team as him, and the way he just goes about his business is pretty professional, and he's a great player.
Well, this sport, of course, isn't one of those sports that's conducive to making $1 million. So the commitment you got to make to be – and I say this for you too, Varn, because not just as a player but as a coach as well, it's a big commitment. And, guys, you're on the road a lot in the summertime. You've got your homework to do, so it's not necessarily like, you're on vacation.
Yeah.
You're thinking all the time and scouting and sizing up your opponents and watching video and that sort of thing. So
yeah, it's a time commitment, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, it really says a lot about the guys that really put in the time and the commitment to this game, because it takes a lot to play it at this level.
Right. And as far as a guy like Jeff, who probably – thought that after a couple years ago, like he was done. It's like, okay, now it's time to go. And when you're done, you probably, you have touching the bat, touching the glove, or whatever, and to put in the time in the winter and say, you know what, I don't want to be done. I feel good, and to come back at this level, I expected him when we had found out that he was going to try to involve himself with the Hill United and the Canadian national program. It's like, you know what? Yeah, probably, but I'm not sure how much of a factor he's going to be. Well, that ended pretty quick. The first couple times we saw him on the diamond. I mean, he must have put in his work. The results are outstanding.
Well, Bolin grounds out to end the inning and the threat, but not before a 3-run bomb from Jeff Ellsworth. 11-0 as we will mosey on down top of the 4th inning when we come back. Welcome back here for the top of the fourth inning. It'll be the 2-3-4 hitters for the Puss Lynch Kodiaks here, facing a new pitcher in Justin Schofield as he takes over for Adam Folkart. Was perfect through through 3 innings. Gave up a walk and no hits, of course, and struck out 8 hitters. So defensively, just a few changes to note. Jason Hill has now moved over to left field. Benny Weidman's in center, and Jeff Ellsworth is in right field. Gonzalez will take over at second. Todd Hunter will slide over to first base, and Jason Sanford will come in to do the catching for Schofield. Of course, that's Sanford, Sanford, period.
That's the second time you've done that.
I don't get a whole lot of chance to deal with Jason, so I like to bring it back like that there.
Is this something he told you to do?
No. You've never heard that reference before?
I've never heard that reference before.
Is from my favorite all-time show, Sanford and Son.
You big dummy.
And he used to spell his name Sanford. Period.
That's exactly right.
So I just decided that Jason Sanford warrants that, and he is now Sanford. Period. So
I like
that's
Grady.
where we got that. You
I like
Grady.
Grady.
See? And I like Rollo.
You like Rollo.
Right?
Rollo was a criminal. He was a criminal.
Always had something on the go. He was a survivor.
No,
he wasn't a criminal. He was a survivor.
Lamont was a survivor. That show was great. On Esther.
See, so now that we're taking it back old school, because apparently that's the school we went to, Varb. So there you have it. That's the whole premise behind that.
They had jokes on that show that you could never get on television.
Between
right
that
now.
and All in the Family, you ain't even allowed.
Both
you two guys are off the air.
Exactly.
Yeah, both you two bigots are off the air.
Exactly.
Boy, oh boy. Man, we can't get talking about politics, so you just leave that alone, all right?
I was going to just tell you one of the Fred Sanford jokes. I literally saw it 2 weeks ago, but I don't know if I should say.
See, don't you teeter. Last time we did a broadcast, you're teetering, all right?
I know.
I had to
I
get the feds
admitted to
involved.
international
There was a
crimes.
witness protection program, all that. So we're trying to avoid that, okay? Change up from Schofield to Lajoie. Lajoie struck out in the first, and it must seem like a long time between at-bats here if you're the Kodiaks, as they're still searching for their first hit of this ball game. Hill United has racked up 10 and put up 11 runs.
Not a surprise, obviously, of the results so far this game. It was probably a foregone conclusion, before the game of who's going to win, but it's been a dominant performance.
Well, I think these Hill United Chiefs look like the top seed, or certainly one of the top seeds here.
They should be. They've won it 4 out of 5 years.
That's an impressive record in itself. And again, we talk about that, but it's consistency that's really, because it's a building program too, Varm. When you look at it, you know, every year guys change. There's some turnover. Who's going to continue to play? Who's got other priorities, kind of thing. So to be able to keep filling in these voids and getting talented players is no easy task.
Yeah, I mean that's every year with every team. I mean, if a team continues for 5 or 6 years, if you take their starting lineup from the first year they played to the 5th year they played, it's never like completely the same every year. I mean, you have about 4 or 5 changes minimum in that lineup. Truthful for our team as well. We had a couple of major changes this year. A couple guys that have been with us for years aren't with us, and we added some new players. Every team kind of goes through that.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you're talking about there's a difference between trying to rebuild an ISC World Contender and trying to reload or rebuild your men's league team.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that's why I say to you that it's a bit of a challenge sometimes. to be able to fill those holes. Because when you lose a guy, you're losing a world-class ball player.
Exactly.
So in order to keep that level, you got to replace someone equal to or of a higher caliber. So not always easy to do.
With your league team, you're looking for guys who are going to show up every game, pretty much.
Right.
Now, I don't know if Kodiak guys are a league team that are coming here, but you're basically looking for guys who show up. Obviously you need a pitcher so you can compete and everything. But for like the top 10 teams, they're looking for guys who will excel. And, if you have a couple guys that don't excel for a year or two, well, fortunately or unfortunately, you're going to look for someone else. It's hard to say, but that's what the stakes are at the top level.
So Justin Schofield comes in and gets the job done, striking out the side, no runs, no hits, and nobody left the board. We're going to mosey on down to the home half of the fourth inning. The United Chiefs in complete control, up 11-0. Back here for the the bottom half of the fourth inning. And it'll be James Todhunter, the number 9 hitter, followed by the top of the shop. And we'll see if it is Bradley Ezekiel, which it does look like. He's in the on-deck circle. So
if Hill United gets one run here, the game would be over.
And that's poked out there for a base hit. So a leadoff single from Todhunter. As I think that's exactly what the thought process might be, Varm. Just push a run across here and let's put this one to bed and get the boys into the dugout and go from there. So,
yeah, I'm sure they're thinking, listen, we don't want our pitchers to pitch, too many innings here.
That ball's driven up, and you can get out of this ballpark right now.
That's on the other field.
Bradley Ezekiel, talk about lighting one up, and that's going to be the ball game. A walk-off home run for Ezekiel and a convincing 13-0 lead. And Varm, we've been talking all game about this, but really it kind of went as we predicted it would.
Yeah, I mean, before the game, these early round games for the top teams, none of them are expected to lose. The game before this, it was a good game. Toronto Batman being one of the top teams, but this you kind of knew what the result was going to be beforehand. You wouldn't know that it would be so lopsided, but you knew that Hill United would end up winning the game. They just turned it on, and it was no coming back.
So a run-shortened ball game, 4 innings, and a convincing 13-0 win for the defending champion Hill United Chiefs, and that's going to do it for us here for this game. Stick around, opening ceremonies.
Oh, opening ceremonies. This is the most exciting part of the week. Everyone flocks to the opening ceremonies.
Varm, your enthusiasm blew me away. I almost tripped there,
Thank
but
you.
Luckily I'm not as fast as I used to be, so I caught myself.
No, standing for 45 minutes is fine.
So there you go. So there you have heard it from Varm, who's, of course, his views aren't necessarily representative of those of all the broadcasters. Either way, that will do it for us. I'm Lance with Barbatosian. Stick around. Opening ceremonies. Game at 6, game at 8. Don't go away. You are watching ISC